Talking about a gun or anything in that, it's a whole different situation, you know? And once he...
One rapper got cornered by 10 ruthless goons, and another got shot after showing off for the cameras. These rappers definitely chose the wrong enemies to mess with. 2 Stains thought he was about to link up with a girl, but instead, he walked straight into a nasty trap set up by his rivals. The second 2 Stain got there, it all went downhill. Fast! Those goons weren't messing around. It was the perfect ambush, designed to catch him completely off guard. What happened next was absolutely humiliating. They mocked him, pushed him around, and made sure he knew he had seriously messed up. But these guys weren't satisfied with just embarrassing him. Nope. They wanted everyone online to see it too. They posted the video all over social media to embarrass him even more. It was brutal. The crazy part is that the guys behind this terrible scheme got way too bold, bragging online about what they did. Soon enough, the main guy responsible got slapped with a 25-year prison sentence. But 2 Stains wasn't the only rapper who took an embarrassing loss after challenging dangerous people. King, the popular rapper from New Orleans, loved flexing hard in his videos, acting like he was unbeatable on the streets. But when real trouble showed up, King folded quicker than anyone expected, losing all credibility in seconds. Turns out, pretending to be tough online can get you embarrassed in real life. King strolls into Lenox Mall thinking he's about to meet up with a friendly fan. What he didn't know was that this so-called fan was actually an op waiting to catch him slipping. Before King even realized what was happening, the guy starts screaming curses and rushing at him right there in the parking lot. King immediately takes off, darting between parked cars trying to avoid a full-on confrontation. It's chaotic. People in the lot stop and stare, wondering what's going on. King keeps running until, finally, he spots his crew pulling up in a car. At that point, he slows down, hoping the sight of backup will make his pursuer think twice. After the whole mess, King tries to save face by putting out a bunch of excuses. He claims he was just playing it safe, says he didn't want to escalate things, and tries to shrug the whole incident off like it was no big deal. Meanwhile, Smoke Choppa, another rapper with something to prove, decides to go on IG Live. He starts showing off a pistol, sending a message to his ops that he's ready for anything. But just as quickly as he flashes the gun, reality hits hard. The ops show up in person, calling his bluff and daring him to step out of the car to fight. Instead of throwing hands, Choppa stays put, watching them jeer and clown him. Word spreads fast, and people quickly start talking about how he folded. His reputation takes a serious hit, but at least he walks away unscathed, and in the end, that's what really matters. And like Choppa, this next rapper barely made it out alive. Ralphie OSS, an up-and-coming spitter with serious buzz, found himself tangled in a life-threatening street drama. This wasn't just some petty beef, this was a full-on drill hit, a calculated move meant to leave someone 6 feet under. Ralphie became a marked man, targeted by goons who didn't just want to send a message, they were aiming to erase him completely. On that fateful day, it looked like Ralphie's number was up. The shooters came prepared, ready to end it all. But in a twist of sheer luck, their gun jammed. Just like that, the deadly scenario shifted. Ralphie later opened up about what went down, refusing to sugarcoat it. He didn't try to run from the truth or downplay how close he'd come to losing it all. Though Ralphie survived, he didn't get away unscathed. The goon still managed to fire off rounds that tore through both his legs. He ended up in the hospital for a week, where doctors warned him his injuries might never fully heal. He had to face the reality of possibly being permanently messed up, a constant reminder of how close he came to losing everything. But Ralphie isn't alone in his near-miss survival story. Another rapper, Digga, has found himself caught lacking more times than he'd care to admit. In one incident, he faced down a crew of B-side goons. Rather than standing his ground, Digga turned into a track star, sprinting like Usain Bolt to escape, leaving his pursuers far behind. That was just the beginning. Strike one, and Digga's luck seemed to run out quickly. The next time he found himself alone in the streets without backup, caught completely off guard and facing danger yet again. You'd think after strike two, Digga would have wised up and gotten some real security. But no, this man kept taking wild risks. And hey, this time the ops weren't just creeping. They went straight for his home turf, pulling up right at his crib. If you're playing these street games, there's no room for slip-ups. You gotta stay on your toes at all times because letting your guard down could be the last mistake you ever make. That harsh reality hit yet another rapper square in the face. Travis Scott and Young Thug strolled into Virginia thinking their status made them untouchable. During his set, Travis got bold and took shots at Trey Songz, who was practically a hometown legend. Word got around fast, and Trey's crew wasn't about to let it slide. Though things didn't escalate into a full-on brawl, the message they sent was crystal clear. Don't mess with the wrong people. And just like Travis, Lil CJ Casino learned the hard way that flexing in enemy territory is a bad move. He rolled into his OP's neighborhood, acting like he owned the place. While CJ was busy showing off, his rivals were cooking up a plan. Out of nowhere, gunfire erupted. All that big talk faded fast, leaving CJ scrambling to save himself. He's not the only one who crossed the wrong line. 757 Lil G had his own IG Live disaster. He walked around his ops neighborhood like it was no big deal until shots rang out. Lil G took off running, but his enemies weren't letting him escape that easily. Here's where it gets intense. Lil G's homie, the one who had been laughing it up and dissing their ops, suddenly went stone silent. Meanwhile, Young Boy stood firm. He didn't flinch even when those goons flashed their guns. Back when he was shooting a routine video in Watts, the local goons showed up to make their presence known. They weren't about to let him slide through their turf unchallenged. But that wasn't the end of Young Boy's drama in LA. Before long, the bounty hunter Bloods stepped in to test him. It's unclear what set things off, but the tension escalated fast. However, Young Boy remained calm and composed. In that moment, he showed he was learning how to handle these dangerous street encounters with a level head. Now, not every goon was actually about that life. Some were just looking for their moment of fame, trying to prove themselves by targeting Young Boy. They thought they could catch him slipping, but each time, he made it clear he wasn't one to play with. Unlike Young Boy, though, not every rapper escaped their ops unscathed. Indian Red Boy, a rising 21-year-old rapper from LA, was just starting to build a buzz. But his climb was cut tragically short. On July 8, 2021, Red Boy was chilling in his car in Hawthorne, live streaming with his friend Capone. According to reports, it might have been the Rollin' 60s seeking revenge, linked to alleged disrespect of Nipsey Hussle's mural. In this world, staying alert isn't just smart, it's a matter of survival. But not everyone takes that advice. Boston rapper Slim LV thought he could flex in Chi-Town without any repercussions. It's a risky game, and one wrong move can change everything. And just like that, Slim's tough guy act crumbles. One minute he's flexing, the next he's bolting for cover, with his IG Live cutting out mid-chaos. Slim managed to make it to the hospital in time, but it's clear he hasn't learned from his close call. Meanwhile, in a similar high-stakes situation, TJX6 knew when to make a move. The Detroit rapper found himself facing 10 goons after posting Lil Baby's driver's license on IG, bragging about scamming him. Lil Baby's crew wasn't having it. But instead of standing his ground, TJX6 turned and ran, escaping harm before things got ugly. The next time anyone saw him, he was on IG Live, explaining what happened, probably to save face since the whole incident was caught on camera and quickly went viral. When you're outnumbered and outgunned, sometimes retreating is the smartest play. At least TJX6 walked away intact. Not everyone makes that same call. A certain battle rapper decided to step on stage and unleash a brutal diss about his opponent's late aunt. The level of disrespect was already high, but he kept pushing, taking the insult even further. It's one thing to try and win a battle with words, but in the streets, words carry weight and consequences. According to reports after the battle, his opponent didn't just let it slide. The opponent, Izat, allegedly pulled out a gun and shot the rapper dead in the parking lot. A devastating end, reminding everyone that in this game, the line between entertainment and real-life violence is thin and sometimes deadly. Unlike that last guy, our next rapper's tragic end wasn't sparked by ongoing drama. It was shockingly unprovoked. On June 18, 2018, X, just 20 years old, visited a motorcycle dealership in Deerfield Beach. As he left, driving his BMW, a dark SUV blocked his path. Suddenly, two masked individuals jumped out, armed and ready to confront him. It was an ambush. Speculation about motives began swirling immediately. The attackers apparently saw X carrying $50,000 in cash and decided to rob him. But what started as a robbery quickly turned into a devastating tragedy. The police moved fast, apprehending 4 suspects who were later charged with first-degree murder and armed robbery. The case was clear-cut, but that didn't stop rumors from spreading. Some even dragged Drake's name into the mix. X and Drake had a contentious history, with X accusing him of stealing his style and airing those grievances on social media. While many dismissed the conspiracy theories, the tension between the two artists had fans drawing connections where there may have been none. Meanwhile, another rapper faced his own kind of public humiliation. In a bid to knock out his competition, this rapper reportedly tried to set up a hit on rival M24. It backfired spectacularly. M24 got wind of the plot and took matters into his own hands. The rival ended up getting caught on camera, backing down completely, his tough talk melting away in front of everyone. That moment of being exposed on the internet was beyond humiliating. A harsh reminder that not every move can be controlled, and sometimes the tables turn in the most public, embarrassing ways. E1 now has to live with the embarrassment of that confrontation video making the rounds online forever. Sure, you can drop the hardest verses, fire off disses left and right, but when there's footage showing you being put on the spot and freezing up, it hits different. It doesn't matter how sharp your bars are, once the internet gets hold of something like that, it's a stain that's hard to shake. At least M1 still had his life after his incident, which is more than can be said for our next artist. Rising out of the Bronx, Raw had made a name for himself with a controversial, boundary-pushing social media presence. He wasn't shy about stirring the pot, especially when it came to targeting K-Flock and his crew. The provocation didn't go unanswered. When K-Flock ran into him in public, Raw froze. To make it worse, K-Flock went live during the encounter, turning the moment into a viral spectacle. In an attempt to recover, Raw posted on Instagram denying the meeting ever happened and claiming he was ready for anything. But anyone who saw the footage knew otherwise, and his tough words fell flat. Things only got worse when Raw began disrespecting the deceased, including a young 13-year-old named Jaron Elliott. That move pushed a lot of gangs in the Bronx over the edge. On July 11, 2021, Raw's provocations caught up to him. While getting into an Uber reportedly heading to the studio, 2 masked individuals on scooters approached and opened fire. The entire event was captured on the Uber's dashcam and spread online in no time. Raw didn't survive. The Bronx scene was left shaken, and the chilling reminder spread. Loose talk can have devastating consequences. Meanwhile, in Chicago, another rapper learned the same hard lesson after disrespecting the dead. Instead of showing respect, Crump decided to mock the deceased. His antics didn't end there. He turned up at the site where Chino, Dirk's manager, had been killed, an act of blatant disrespect that wasn't going to fly unnoticed. For a while, Crump seemed almost untouchable, pushing limits and daring consequences. But on May 25, 2018, his streak of reckless behavior finally caught up with him. At a house party, Crump was outside flexing, showing off as usual, when a car crept up. Without warning, gunfire erupted. Crump was hit 4 times, 2 shots to his arm and 2 to his torso. People scrambled to get him help, rushing him to the hospital as fast as they could, but despite their efforts, Crump's injuries proved fatal. He didn't make it. Word of Crump's death spread like wildfire across Chicago's rap community. The news didn't just send shockwaves, it ignited reactions. When Lil Durk heard that Crump was gone, he wasted no time making his feelings known. There was no holding back. Durk made it clear that Crump's departure only fueled his own fire. Crump's story became a stark reminder of how quickly things can spiral out of control when provocation and pride take center stage. He played a dangerous game, continuously testing the limits of what he could get away with. But in the end, the streets caught up with him, proving once again that in this environment, words and actions carry heavy consequences.